Hi everyone, I'm Sauce Teaside and welcome to this new video. Today it's time for a new sketchbook tour. This one is from 2014 to 2015, I think. This is the second sketchbook tour I'm doing. If you want to see my previous one, it's, I don't know, like in the info card above. The only thing that's like important is that I was still in school. I was like, I think it's like my last year of school. I got the sketchbook from our teacher. I was in an art class, in like an advanced art class. I don't know what's called in English right now, like a major. The difference between this and my old sketchbook, my first sketchbook, is that our teacher didn't look at this one because, I don't know, he like forgot or something. And you can see, like, after I graduated school, you can see that I was way more comfortable with what I drew, because back in school my teacher told me to not draw in this typical anime style, and it really bothered me. In the first half you can see that I wasn't very comfortable with the drawings I made. It was not very in the typical style, and the further we go in the sketchbook, it's more my usual style I had back then. Here we go. As you can see, it's completely blank. 3 years ago I understood that you could like put stickers on your sketchbook. It's from 2014 to 2015. Oh, what do we have here? Yeah, it said it's drawn from November 2014. As I said before, I tried to draw like the eyes smaller because I tried to not draw too much anime style. Oh, it should be in the middle. I realized. And I remember that I really used to love to draw with a, what's it called, Mechanal, with this specific pencil. I have no idea what it's called. I drew with this very specific pen, which I don't know the English name of. I know in German it's called Druckbleistift. Here, this I love to draw with this pencil. Okay. Here we have, yeah, very typical usual drawings that I did. I remember that I used to draw like with very thin lines. It was very vague. I think it's very interesting because these sketches are very messy in my opinion, and my usual sketch style that I do now is way more simplistic. I think I try to still achieve this semi-realistic drawing style, but now I kind of like just prefer stylistic. Like in the first one, like very weird small sketches, so tiny. This was a school assignment that I drew. It's about this very German classic Faust. We were supposed to make I think a theater poster for it, I'm not sure, and these were some ideas I had. Like with the hands, I think this is supposed to be like Mephisto trying to making a pact with Faust. Another idea for this Faust poster, I still had this very heteronormative thinking. So my idea, for example, was to make Mephisto a woman, like seducing Faust, which is, I don't know if I would stand with this idea, but I do like my femme fatales, I gotta say that. So this is why I think they're like long nails, and this book was supposed to represent Faust because he's like a scholar type of guy, and Mephisto, who would be tearing his knowledge and his morality and sanity, would tear him apart. I think that was the kind of deal. I didn't get a good grade in that, and actually I think that's fair. Like, I tried to convey that Mephisto was a woman in here because the person here has like red nails, which is a very feminine trait. That's what I thought. I think it's kind of, I don't know. You know what? I want a reimagining of Faust and Mephisto, but with gay dudes. I think I would love that. Or just like, oh my god, imagine a sapphic reimagination of Faust. I would eat that shit up. Okay, next one. Here we got some more sketches. Really like this one. Yeah, as you can see, I think this is drawn with a very soft pencil. It looks very smeared up, if you ask me. Here we have our obligatory muscle drawing. I really like this style. I really like this drawing. Like some of these drawings, I really like this semi-realistic, like my getaway to not draw too anime. And some of these drawings I really like. I still had to learn, but I think I kind of found some kind of way to draw people more realistic. like stylized realism. I don't know if that's a word. I think I got a bit better with that. If you have seen my K-pop drawings from, what's it, 2020 or something, I really like this style of stylizing people in real life, but I do like the way I managed to convey a more, or I guess convey a less anime style. Some hands. I'm a big fan of like edges and hard line art and thick line art. Like for example, Panty and Stoking, that anime. I was a really big fan of her drawing style, and I don't know, I really like this kind of angular, spiky line art. I want to try some more of that. Ooh, I like that. I'm also a huge fan of this very typical Western comic look where the shadows are drawn in black. I really like this. I always wanted to try drawing like that. It was very hard for me. If you compare this to my usual style that I have now, I think I kind of like managed to find a way with it. I'm a huge fan of that style. So I really like this drawing actually. Wow. And how old is this? This is like 10 years. Oh my god, this drawing is 10 years old. Holy shit, I'm so old. This is 10 years old. Oh my god. Okay. It's fine. Okay. And I think I was 18 when I drew this. I am, as I told you before, I'm a huge sucker for femme fatale women characters who can kill me but look sexy in it. It's just my vibe. Here I do something with, what's it called? A pen point? Like, oh my god, I don't know English. Pen point? Whatever it is. I drew it with that. I like this kind of texture that I made with this drawing. Ooh, this is a self-portrait of mine. I am nearly 1 meter and 64 centimeters tall. I have no idea what this is in inches and feet. Americans, please tell me in the comments. I have no idea. I love to draw myself. I don't know. Back then I really used to love to draw myself. This was my usual to-go haircut. Like nowadays, what I usually do now is that I tie all my hair up so it's not in my face, because it gives me a lot of sensory issues. I'm very sensitive about like clothes that are touching my skin and hair and my face. I'm getting very anxious if there's like too much going on. So I always tie my hair up. It's still that short though. And also I'm blonde now. Like I have 2 blonde hair strands. Ooh, here I've got crayons. Crayons are really hard to use. I really like using them because I think they're so vibrant, but they are very hard. And I'm not really a traditional artist, so it's kind of hard for me. Back in university, we had like a course where we were supposed to use these oil crayons, and we just had like 5 colors, which are very like nature-based. So I really enjoyed this. I struggle a lot with colors. As you can see, there's not a lot of color in my sketchbooks. Like, they are a struggle to use, these crayons, but I also think they're very fun. I like to experiment with different art supplies. When I have an art blog, it does help me. I draw a lot digitally, and I have a lot of respect for traditional art. I'm just not very good at it. I do use traditional art from time to time when I have an art blog. Here's some still small drawings. As you can see, oh my god, okay. Here you can see I'm a huge fan of Hunter x Hunter, and I'm pretty sure this is Kurapika because I love them. Oh my god, I think you're gonna see some more anime fan art. I usually don't draw a lot of fan art. I actually hate drawing fan art, but Hunter x Hunter, that's a different thing. Sometimes you gotta be weak and have to draw your favorite anime characters. Lots of small drawings again, lots of hands. I really should draw more hands. Here are our hand studies. Yeah, here remember my teacher always criticized me that I was drawing too anime, so I tried to like study like realistic proportions. I'm still really bad at that, but here it is. It looks weird even with normal proportions. I don't know how humans look. This doesn't look like a human. This doesn't look realistic at all. I don't know. Some weird stuff again. I used to draw hair like that a lot, like drawing every strand. I think this was supposed to be a child. It's kind of weird, but okay. These two are my OCs. Like for my old webcomic, I See New Insights. If you know this channel, you know this is like my one thing. But I love my OCs that I have for like years. And I tried to draw them in a more realistic style, to not draw them too anime, because my teacher was always complaining about that. I do like how Yukiko looks in this one, but I am seeing right now that here, I don't think you can read it here. It's in German and it translates into, this is my sketchbook and I can draw as much manga as I want to and I can draw whatever I want. Because if you see my previous sketchbook tour where I got my first sketchbook, where my teacher constantly told me to not draw anime, I was so pissed off and I think it just snapped here. At this point, I didn't care anymore. I just wanted to draw whatever I want. I think that was very important to me, to understand that I should just do what I like and that I enjoy. I mean, when I think about it, it's very important to go out of your comfort zone and also learn the fundamentals. But being restricted or being forbidden to draw in the style that you usually prefer, it really frustrated me. And you know what? Good for her. Good for past me. Some more poses. I feel like I was way more experimental with my drawings back then. I tried a lot of stuff and I feel like I really should get this feeling of trying to improve, doing more different drawings and motives. I feel like now in the present I only draw my OCs and D&D characters and stuff that I like. And because I love to tell stories, right? This is why I always draw the same characters. But I think now that I see my younger self drawing way more diverse and different things, I think I should also like get back to that. Ooh, I like this. It's just not blue. Like when I look at this, I can also just tell that I was really scared to like put the pen on the paper, or I was like drawing very softly. Now I'm just like, I'm drawing as the paper would be cut through. I think it's very interesting. I think this was also a time where I was a bit scared to use darker shadows. This is a very cute bird. Here I try to play with fonts. So the thing is, now I have an internship. I think that's the English word for it, I'm not sure. I'm in a training to become a graphic designer, and it's very ironic because I'm very bad at graphic design. Or moreover, it's very hard for me, like using fonts, making it stylistic, making something more readable and user-friendly, I don't know how to say it, was very hard for me. I personally think that I am more of a storyteller and I like to draw instead of like designing. Designing and drawing are two very different things, personally, but they do have a lot in common. So having this internship for me is a really great way to improve my drawing as well, because I'm thinking in different ways now, and it does give me a new perspective to create. So that's really cool. Anyway, fonts are really hard for me. I would love to make my own font at one point. I think it would be really cool. This was another school assignment where in a group of 3 people, and we had to like make a logo and a brand. We were supposed to make corporate design, create a brand with poster and a logo and stuff and the slogan. We were supposed to make corporate design. I think that's what it's called. And here were some ideas. And we had it was a clothing brand. We were supposed to create a clothing brand for young people. It was very hard to pick a name. And here were some ideas for logos and stuff. I think the next ones are... Oh no, apparently we just did like 1 page. I really remember this drawing. I think it's cool. Oh, and here I told you before, I was on my last year of school. Like for our last year of school, every senior year had like a slogan. Our year really wanted to use this alcohol brand, Captain Morgan, for our senior pullovers, and I really hated that. I wanted to design an individual motive for our pullovers. My idea was to draw a student who was in the pose of this Captain Morgan brand, but standing on books and being like a scholar. It almost got through, but in my humble opinion, I think someone rigged the votes. I had most of the votes that my design would go through, but then someone said, hey, how about we combine this? And then we got the combined version, but it's okay, it's fine. some more designs. I sketched in red instead of using like a pencil because I saw a lot of artists I admire. They use the sketch but don't use like a pencil. They use like a colored pen, blue or red or whatever. They're making a cleaner sketch on top of that with black or with a darker color. And I think that's very cool. I really like it. And I want to try to use that too. It is really good. It's really helpful to get a cleaner sketch because that if you use like a color pencil, it has a different vibe. I don't know. It just looks neat. Some very typical eyes, random eyes. I really like to draw muscles and legs and anatomy. I actually really do. So I should try learning that more. For some reason I was drawing a cup. I think that's really cool. Man, I was studying way more when I was younger. I don't do this anymore. Oh, this was again for our clothing brand assignment. This was an idea for a poster. Yeah, more ideas for this. We were thinking about like chic and casual style. This is just some random doodles. Here, close and classy. I think that's the name we decided for our clothing brand. So this page, I really love just getting like a dark pen and just scribble. I don't care about whatever. I don't know. I really like this. I don't know. I feel like when I look at this feels way more like me, present me, like in comparison to these old drawings. Like, I love permanent marker. I love to draw with it. And I think why I like these pages a lot is because they're thick line arts. I think this is why it reminds me of my usual style now. Back then I remember that I used to draw a lot of thin lines because I think I heard somewhere that it looks better. But I always preferred thick lines. I just do. I really like this. Kind of looks like this Animal Crossing character. I am not really familiar with Animal Crossing, but gives me that vibe of what's her name? Anka, I think. Here again, some more thick lines with markers. I am a big fan of Fall Out Boy. And I think every emo kid knows what this song was. Here, there's this very famous old artist YouTuber, I don't know, Skira. I don't remember the name right now, but they had like this trick how to like draw perspective and using like circles and like columns. It's really helpful. I still do this trick. Sometimes I did some comments on my own drawings to say, okay, look here, these legs are too long or whatever, to correct myself. I think that's pretty cool actually. I think I saw on like some Facebook post or something how to draw like to make this 3D effect so this would look like it popped out. I don't know, does this look like realistic to you? Tell me in the comments. I have very sweaty hands, just saying. Like a lot of my drawings are very just like smeary because I just have very sweaty hands. It's really annoying actually. I hate it, it makes me very sad. Here's some more drawings. I remember this is also a sketch I started. This was supposed to be my crush, but I didn't want people to know who my crush was, so I didn't draw the head. Ooh, this is really cool. I'm a big fan of very strong light and shadows and I love that. I really like this kind of like dramatic lighting. Really proud of it. Wow, it's not bad. Very typical. Oh, this looks so bad. Just scribble all over, it looks bad. At this point I don't even know if I was like drawing to like draw or if I was just drawing to fill the pages. But very interesting to see like that I once again tried different poses. Like when was the last time present me drew a person from behind? I can't remember, and I really should draw people from behind and from different perspectives again. I'm a big fan of tattoos, and I really like card symbols and flowers, and I'm just a big fan of tattoos, so I kind of wanted to play with that idea to give people different tattoos, or maybe even for myself. I don't have a tattoo, but I always wanted to. Some poses again. Man, I was drawing so many poses. You can just really tell that I didn't draw my characters, my OCs in here, because they were too anime. This is why there are so many random people who don't have connection to me. A lot of these drawings don't have any connection to me. I didn't feel very strong about them because there were not any characters I could relate to. This was a school assignment again. I think it was a storyboard or something. This was a flaw in my school. I really like these eyes. They look very intense. I'm a big fan of that. Oh, I remember this one. I had this really cool pose and I really liked that. And back then I had like a drawing session where I met up with friends and we drew together. And I drew this on a DIN A3 paper to make it special. I never finished this drawing, but this was the sketchbook. Some more random eyes. And here you can see I took a bit of courage and I drew Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I used to be a huge Kingdom Hearts fan for years. It was my whole identity actually. I was such a big fan. When Kingdom Hearts 3 came out and kind of disappointed me and kind of fell out of the fandom, but I cried at every trailer and every every revelation and every game I played. I was so obsessed. I think I played every game. Sorry for nerding out, but if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you may know. Oh, I maybe have it here. No, do I have it? Here. Ah! Here. I was very happy when this came out because I could play and experience all the games. Oh man, I was such a big fan of Kingdom Hearts. I loved Kingdom Hearts. Maybe I will come back to it at one point. And if you care, here's my Kingdom Hearts 3. I got the deluxe edition, but I lost the pin. That was very sad and made me cry. Ooh, I remember I drew this when a friend of mine visited me and we just talked and I was like sketching while we were talking and I really like this drawing. It's like there's so much detail. Like I don't have strong connections to like nature-based characters or nature in general, which sounds kind of sad, but I was not a person who touched a lot of grass. But I was really proud of this drawing. This is a character from another story I always had in mind. This is a story idea that I have for a long time, for many years, called Alive in Wonderland. If you remember my first sketchbook, I also had a character from this idea. I will draw this at one point, but I don't know when. It's like an Alice in Wonderland inspired fantasy isekai kind of story with revolution and evil empire and stuff. And every character was like card based, like card symbol based. I think that's really cool. And some frillies. Oh, here I wanted to draw an old person. It's interesting. It's not bad. That's a very good character design, if I might say so. Once again, different poses and arms and studies. Here once again, I'm a fucking weeb. Gon and Killua from Hunter x Hunter. Here's Biscuit. I love Hunter x Hunter. Here's OC of mine. This was a study. I think this was like the garden of my parents' house, I'm not sure. Some hands again. Oh, here I really wanted to play with like soft shadows. Here I used my sweaty hands and tried to make a blurry shadow. I think that's kind of cool actually. Some skull studies. I did do some skull studies last year actually. I still have no idea how to draw a skull. I still have to look it up every time. I really gotta step up my studies. Oh man, okay, I had a very intense phase where I was a huge fan of Yowamushi Pedal or Yowapeda. I love this stupid gay bicycle and sports anime. Man, sports anime, they are my thing. Yes, and I was a huge fan of Turo and I think Tashima is his name. Yeah, I was a huge fan of these two characters. I will put some fan art in here so you can see how much of a fan I was. This is the time after school. I graduated after school, moved to a big city where I had like an voluntary year. I don't know if there's like an English term for that. It's called FSJ in German. I didn't have an FSJ. I had a Bundesfreiwilligendienst, which was voluntary work in like social fields, like in kindergarten, just like doing voluntary work for people in need and stuff. And for this I moved into a big city and this was the first time I lived alone, and at that time I also tried to apply to art school and try to make a portfolio. You will see some portfolio ideas I had, but they were not good. I didn't get in art school. I'm actually not sad about that. Back then I was. I think everyone who like graduated school knows how it is to have no idea what to do with your future after school. I still don't. And I've graduated 10 years ago, so yeah, it's okay. Just let me tell you, it's okay. It's normal. This was a study I was drawing, like the environment I was in. Here were some ideas for this portfolio I tried to get. More studies, more hands. I really should try to study more hands. Once again, oil crayon. Really like that. It's a fun media. Here I just wanted to be artsy and have like use this oil crayon to make like school transitions. I don't even know. I think I just had no idea how to fill the sketchbook. Here's some ideas. I think this was like my idea for my portfolio. This is a very bad idea. It's called unentschlossen. Unentschlossen means undecisive, but Schloss kind of sounds like Glock. So I tried to like make something with this idea and try to be artsy about it. It was bad. It was also not the greatest time for me. Because living alone, I realized I'd have a big depression, but I would be diagnosed rather late. I love this drawing. I'm really proud of this. I still like this, even if it's like 10 years old. Here's some more ideas for my portfolio. Some studies again. Big fan of this drawing. I really love minimalistic drawings, and it's a struggle of like, oh, I love fan art, oh, but I also love line art, and oh, I love conceptual art, and it's, yeah, like this. Like here you can see this is my very typical art. This is my very typical art style, but here I try to do something new with my art. As you can see, as I graduated school and my teacher couldn't look into my sketchbook anymore, I started to draw like I always used to draw, like in my usual style, and no one could tell me not to do because it was too anime, because fuck off, this is how I love to draw. So here's a character, here's one of my OCs, this is Yukiko again. I think this was a study or something, I don't know. It's like a person sitting in a car from behind. As we established, I should draw more people from behind. Here's a face, if you can tell. I really love drawing big and strong expressions. It's a lot of fun. And I love to sketch. When I draw sketches, I often don't like lift the pen up. I just draw on the paper and don't go up and draw new strokes. I often draw with the same stroke. And I think I really like the effect it does. Once again, I'm a weep, Pico from Danganronpa, from Super Danganronpa 2. She's my favorite character. Some expression studies again, because I love angsty expressions. I love angst. I love it. Just gives me so much. I love to draw emotions. Here, this looks extremely different from my other drawings. This is from 2016. These drawings are from 2016. Okay, so the sketchbook isn't from 2014 to 2015, as I thought. Also, you have to imagine between in here, there are a lot of breaks. I wasn't drawing a lot after school. Like the first year after school, I didn't draw a lot. Here are my OCs, being cutesy and all. I use mechanic. I was using a mechanic pen again, and I feel like when you see this really shows how I was establishing my own style. I really like the way these drawings look. I don't hate my old art. I remember when I was drawing this, I had so much fun. Drawing these. Some studies, some posters again. Kusuryu from Danganronpa 2. Random stuff actually. I don't know if when I was drawing this, I have no idea. Sorry, there's some gore art. Here's some hand studies again. When you like see other people's sketchbooks online, they always have like super clean and super cool illustrations in their sketchbooks. And it's a fucking lie, but I also wanted to try it. It took a very long time to draw this. I still like it. I'm a huge fan of the night and sky aesthetic. I'm a big fan. Here's some character design. Character from my Alive in Wonderland idea. Here's another Pico. This is kind of cool. Just some scribbling where I tried to make the lines not touch with each other. The forms not touch with each other. Some sketches again. As you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but I just had so much fun with drawing these. I felt more comfortable with this drawing style because it was how I usually drew. But as you can tell, the noses are still very anti-anime. I think I got like still damaged from my teacher telling me not to draw anime, so this is why my noses look like that. But I also like big noses, to be honest. This was a challenge of mine. I tried to draw all these emojis. I took one of my OCs, Shiro, and I drew every fucking emoji that I found on WhatsApp, the facial ones, and tried to draw these expressions. I think this is like 4 pages long. Some more of this. It was a very good exercise actually. Maybe I will redraw it again. Maybe I will try to do this challenge again. Now when I look at it, I feel like the emotions are kind of similar to each other, and I got way better at drawing different expressions, facial expressions, but it's not bad. It's a good exercise. I should definitely do this again. Oh god, this is longer than I expected. I was very good at drawing angry stuff. This is cool. Oh, and here's just I love to angst my characters. I love to give them horrible things to happen to them. Because it's very important to have a balance between fluff and angst. Here's some more expressions, facial expressions again. I think this is like a person lying on the ground of the ocean. Looks kind of cool. Nice pose. Try to draw like perspective and background without reference. And that's it. Thank you. What can I say about this? I really liked the sketchbook actually because it was a very important time back then. It was a time where I was very insecure what would happen in the future, where I was kind of lost, and I also lost my way of drawing. But after school I also realized that I can draw whatever I want, so kind of happy to see all the improvement and also seeing myself draw more comfortably in the usual style that I used to love. So I don't know, I'm very emotional actually right now, very nostalgic seeing all this art again. It also took me a while to fill this, as this is apparently a sketchbook from 2014 to 2016 and I didn't know. There are even bigger in my other sketchbooks, there are like even bigger gaps between the drawings because I had a really bad time. Like not a bad time, but art-wise there was a lot going on in my real life. It was just kind of hard to think about drawing. But I was always drawing. I think that's important to know. I never gave up on drawing and it is just so important to me. I love art. I love creating. And I'm very happy to see these drawings again. Oh man. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye! 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 Thank you so much for watching this. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like or subscribing to see more. See you in the next video. Bye!